Get him! Nike screamed at the top of his lungs. Damon and Zero stared at their commander sprawled on the ground, torn between helping him up and chasing after the slave Jason. And don't come back without his head. Jason raced through the dusty, arid streets of Corinth, Greece, dodging the fighting all around him. Up ahead, a small girl cried, "No! Leave my daddy alone!" A soldier dragged her father through the dirt. Jason spotted a pile of burlap bags, and grabbing one, threw it over the soldier's head and cinched it tight. He released the ropes around the father's wrists. "Go to the Temple of Apollo. You'll be safe there." From behind him, Damon screamed, "Stop! Stop in the name of the state!" Damon and Zero ran faster, gaining on the slave, when Zero tripped over a rock. "Ah! My ankle!" Damon stopped to help, but Zero urged him on. "Forget me. Get the slave." Damon turned just in time to see Jason dash into a tent. "He's a dead man," Jason said as he stalked towards the tent. He drew his sword and threw open the tent flap. "Drop your weapon, turn around slowly, or I'll kill you where you stand." "Please, it's for my son," Jason said as he turned. He held a loaf of bread in his hand. Behind him, a 6-year-old boy cowered in fear. Jason slowly lowered his sword. "If I saw you in the square with the other rioters, you attacked my commander." "I was just trying to get away," Jason pleaded. "My children are hungry. We have no food or money." The tent was empty except for a few stools, clay pots, and a woman who had been weaving a blanket in a corner. Damon stared closely at the slave. "Jason?" Jason stared back, surprised. "Do I know you?" Damon sheathed his sword. "We played together as kids. Our fathers farmed together." Jason suddenly smiled. "Damon?" Damon stepped towards Jason. "What happened to you?" Jason saw Damon looking around his meager belongings. "I took over my father's farm after he died, but the state took away my land and charged me rent. When I couldn't pay, they sold me into slavery. I had to, or they would take my children. I swear upon the tomb of Hylos." There was a noise from the tent entrance. Then turned and saw Zero standing there. Zero looked at the two of them, then left without saying a word. Damon turned to Jason. "He'll be back with more soldiers. You must leave." Jason shook his head. "If I leave now, they'll be back for your head." "We were like brothers," Damon replied. "I can't take you in." Jason shot back. "Then come with us." Damon looked doubtful. "I'm a soldier. My duty is to the state." Then he spotted Jason's son, staring hopefully from the shadows. The boy smiled and held out a piece of bread. "Slaves are gathering in the hills above the Gulf," Jason said. "From there we travel to start a new town, Byzantium." Damon smiled and back at Jason's son. "Then we better get started."